Dennis Young here, Primitive Substance, another program with a special guest from all the way from France, singer-songwriter, composer. Got a brand new record out that's pretty exciting with all these special guests. Stéphane Schück, and thank you for coming on.
Yes, I'm pleased to talk with you about music. Thank you for
Yes,
giving me the time to do
of
this.
course. And so let's talk about first how you got interested in playing guitar.
Oh, that's a long story, because I'm very old. So it
Right?
became. i- In fact, my first instrument was drumming. I was a drummer, so I have
Oh, okay.
a lot of bands where I was a drummer. Then I switched to bass, you
Oh,
know,
okay.
because I want to have the feeling of the rhythm, but also the melodic part. And then I finally moved to guitar, because I was a huge fan of guitars. But I started with other instruments, and then I switched to guitars because I want to play songs of my idols, David Bowie and so much people. So I finally moved to guitar.
Okay. And then were you doing cover band, playing in cover bands at first, or were you writing music to your own music early on?
No, I directly started writing music because, and that's a link with all the Salt Collective story. When I was a teenager, I was a huge fan of the DBs,
Oh,
and
yes.
yes, and
Great
Chris
band.
Stamey. And there was this album called Repercussion, and I was a huge fan of this album, and especially one song on this album, which is Happenstance. And this is a song I told to myself, I want to play music and I want to write songs to maybe one day write something like this, and it started from there.
So how did you meet Chris Stamey? I mean, he's in the DBs. How did that actually happen?
Yes, it's a beautiful story, because I'm playing with my idols. I mean, with my heroes. It's really
Right.
a fan music dream come true. And in fact, we have to go back to the 80s and the 90s because I was a huge fan of Scott Miller. That was the guy from Game Theory and then Loud Family. And
Okay.
at the time, I was a DJ radio, and I made an interview with Scott Miller. At the time, there was no internet, no Zoom like this, So I write my question on a paper and he answer on a tape, and I broadcast the interview. And then years after, I met Scott, and he was also a huge fan of Chris Stamey, and as I was.
Oh,
And then by connection, he was knowing some people, and then I was connecting with these people. And at the end, I was connecting with Chris Stamey for our first album live 3 years ago. And now we are working together, and it's it's kind of a awake dream.
yes. Well, let's talk about the Life record. I really like it, and it was critically acclaimed record I read.
Thank you, thank you. Yes, Life Record was very particular for me because at the time, and it's not a secret, I was very ill. I have a
Mm.
very serious disease. I have had a leukemia,
Oh. Mm.
and so I was in a sterile room, with one guitar and one computer, and I was already connected with Chris Stamey, and then we did a lot of things remotely because of this.
Right, right.
And that's why the album is called Life, because it helps me a lot to recover and to get and to heal from this terrible disease. And then with Chris, we have a very particular way of doing music because we have all this collaboration. You saw with all these guests that we have on live, but also on the new album, A Brief History of Blindness. And I'm writing the songs, I'm writing the music, and with Chris, we improve the song. And then we send this piece of music to different singers, and they have
Mm.
total freedom of writing the lyrics and writing their own melody based on the music that we have sent to them. And it's a very nice way to have collaboration, and playing music together in this way. It's very interesting.
Now, how did you come up with the name Salt Collective? How did that come about?
Just before the core of the band was my band
Mm.
in France. Here we were a power trio, and the name was Salt. It was only Salt. And then when we're starting to have all this collaboration, we have this idea of creating a collective of people who are happy to work together and who share the same influences or the same uh, culture of music.
Okay.
And so it was obvious it has to be now a collective and it has to be reflected in the name. That's why we move from Salt to Salt Collective. And I'm very happy with this.
That's a nice name. I mean, but I'd like to know how you got all these fantastic artists to play on the record. Andy Partridge, Aimee Mann, Pat
Yeah,
Sampson from Wilco. How did that all happen?
it's as I say, playing with all these guys is something just incredible. I mean, all the connection is by Chris Stamey.
Okay.
He has first, he's very good at music. He's
Oh,
very good
yes,
at
I know.
he's very good at producing. He's an amazing producer,
Hmm.
and he knows all the earth. He knows
Right.
so much people. And just a little story when I wrote one song, that we have Kimberly Ryu on a song, and when I wrote the song, I told to Chris, it's this part is sounding like Katrina and the Waves. And he said to me, "Do you want me to ask to Kimberly Ryu if he could play on the song?" I said, "What?"
Yeah, isn't that something?
Yeah.
Yeah, to get people like that to play, right?
Yes,
That is
yes. And
great.
Chris is just amazing for this. And so much people uh, love him and like his music. So it was the case for Matthew Caws from Nada Surf. When we have proposed Matthew to join the collective, he said, "I'm such a fan of Chris Temi that I just can't say no. I say yes, you know."
Hey, and now are you going to be playing any shows to
We
support
hope.
this?
Yes, for life, we made a little tour on the East Coast 2 years ago, but only, 6 or 7 shows. And we are trying to tour the US in the 2026, but it's hard to organize and to play with the agenda of everybody. So maybe it will be a reduced collective, only 3 or 4 people, or maybe we will have more people, but we are working on this because we really love to play together. This kind of chemistry when we are together, and we want to do it again.
It's got to be hard though to come to the US these days. I mean, the amount of paperwork and money and not many bands from the Europe are coming over here to play unless they have a lot of money.
You're right. You're right. But we are in this collective. We are only here for pleasure, and the
Yeah.
pleasure to be together and to. We don't have any pressure. We don't have any pressure for anybody. So it's just pleasure.
Well, that's what it
Well, that's
should
what it
be.
should be.
You're having a lot of fun.
Yes, exactly. And for the A Brief History of Blindness, for this one, there was a core band that playing together. We were at a Fidelitorium studio, the studio from Mitch Easter, and we recorded live in the studio, with this
Oh,
with
you
this
did?
band.
Oh, the whole band?
Yes, yes, yes.
Ah,
It was the rhythm section. So there was Jen Holder on bass,
okay.
there was Rob Ladd on drums, Wes Lachot on keyboards, there was Mitch Easter on guitar, there was me on guitar, and Chris producing, and we were together very close in the room, and we have this live band feeling.
That's
That
the way
was
to do it. What did you do this in the U.S.? Was this done in the United States, this recording?
yes, yes, yes. It was in North Carolina at Mitch Easter studio. Not last summer, but the summer before.
And is this going to be out on vinyl or CD or just
Yes,
digital?
yes, 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 yes. The album will be released now in 9 days. It will be 21st November, and then there will be CDs, there will be vinyl, there will be digital, and
Oh,
we're on
okay.
the Propeller label with very nice guys, and so yes, we'll have physical copies.
I'm going to try this, get this online before the 21st. I know I'm backlogged a little bit here at the end of the year, but I'll make sure it's up.
Okay.
So you get the
Okay.
promotion for that. I know a French singer. Do you know Stéphane Escher?
Yes, of course.
Yeah.
Of course.
When
Yes.
you know of him?
Yes, 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 I know him. In fact, he's from Switzerland, you know. He's from Switzerland, but he speaks French. And I have a little story about Stéphane Escher when he was at the very, very beginning of his career. I organized a show where he come to play in our little town in Normandy because
Oh,
I
okay.
was living there, and he was so nice. And after he has a huge success here.
Yeah. Well, I knew Stefan when I was in Liquid Liquid, our first tour to Europe. Stefan's manager arranged the tour for us.
Okay,
And that's
okay.
where I
What
met
was your band?
Stefan. Liquid Liquid was the band.
Liquid
We were,
Liquid.
yeah,